What's the one horror film you'll never forget after watching this year? Let's dive into the 10 best thriller horror movies of 2025. Don't blink, they only get darker from here. Number 10. Wolfman. Jacob returns to his childhood village after years of self-imposed isolation. He's quiet, scarred, and hiding something. Soon after his arrival, the village is struck by a wave of brutal killings. Mutilated livestock, missing people, shredded bodies found under the full moon. Jacob wakes up with torn clothes, muddy hands, and memories that don't match his surroundings. He begins to suspect the impossible, that he's turning into the very monster his town feared in old legends. A local folklore expert confirms his fears, pointing to Jacob's bloodline as cursed, but when Jacob starts investigating deeper, he uncovers something more sinister. The expert isn't just an observer, he's been orchestrating it all. The twist? Jacob isn't the werewolf. He's been manipulated by the real beast hiding in plain sight, the folklorist who's been feeding for decades. Number 9. The Monkey. When twins Hal and Bill clean out their late father's attic, they find a dusty, antique monkey toy that claps its cymbals. It seems harmless, until people around them begin dying in strange, sudden ways. A neighbor falls off a ladder. A teacher collapses mid-class. The monkey claps and death follows. Bill becomes obsessed with the toy's pattern, while Hal begins to suspect that their father's mysterious death was also tied to it. As they fight over what to do, the monkey becomes more active, moving on its own, appearing in places it wasn't left. Bill wants to destroy it, but Hal won't let him. Eventually, Bill hurls it into a lake, but the killings don't stop. He rushes home only to find Hal smiling, with a new monkey toy, hand-built. The original didn't return, Hal made another, and this one never stops clapping. Number 8. Dangerous Animals. A research team in a high-tech Arctic wildlife facility becomes trapped by a severe blizzard. With no way in or out, they begin to notice strange behaviors from the predators they study. Polar bears pacing intelligently, wolves mimicking human movements. At first, the team suspects something in the atmosphere is affecting behavior. Then, they begin disappearing one by one. Security footage shows nothing but flickers, distorted audio, and eyes in the dark. The animals aren't just evolving, they're mimicking human behavior. A surviving member discovers that one scientist had been testing a neural-enhancing serum meant to increase animal intelligence. But it worked too well. The apex predator isn't just smarter, it's now wearing a face. The twist? One scientist faked their own death to join the creatures, because evolution, they say, is overdue, and humans are obsolete. Number 7. Hallow Road. 5 college friends on a Halloween road trip decide to explore Hallow Road, a supposedly cursed highway not found on any maps. It's pitch black, unnaturally silent, and stretches farther than it should. At first, it's all laughs, until their phones stop working, road signs begin to repeat, and they drive past the same gas station 3 times. Strange hitchhikers appear, vanishing if confronted. One friend disappears from the back seat without a sound. The road seems alive, testing them. As panic builds, they attempt to turn back, only to discover the road rewrites itself. One by one, each of them vanishes, replaced by doppelgangers only the last survivor can see. He manages to break the cycle, he thinks. When he wakes up in his car, parked back at the starting point, something's off. The twist? He's the last one left, but his reflection isn't his anymore. Number 6. 28 years later. The rage virus has returned, but it's not the same. Instead of mindless rage, the infected now display coordination, strategy, and collective memory. Ava, a scientist stationed in a crumbling London research centre, races against time to escape with a potential cure. With her is a small band of survivors who begin to question why the infected are so intent on capturing her alive. As they navigate tunnels, overrun hospitals, and abandoned metros, the infected begin herding them rather than attacking. Ava realizes she might be the key to something more than survival, something evolutionary. When she's finally captured, she's not killed. She's presented to a council of infected who can speak. They reveal that her blood doesn't cure the virus, it perfects it. The twist? She's not the savior of humanity, she's the blueprint for the next phase of it. Number 5. Presence. After inheriting her grandmother's isolated cabin deep in the woods, Lily retreats there for solitude. But peace doesn't last. Each night, strange knocking echoes through the walls. Objects move, shadows stretch where they shouldn't. Thinking it's grief-induced paranoia, she installs cameras. What she finds chills her. Every night, a dark figure appears in her room, inches from her bed, always watching. Paranormal investigators find nothing except one detail. The house wasn't haunted by her grandmother's spirit, but by something far older, a presence that attaches to places through memory and emotion. When Lily tries to burn the house down, she wakes up the next day in her bed, everything perfectly intact. The twist? The house isn't real anymore. It's a loop created inside her mind, and the presence now lives in her thoughts. She never left the cabin, and she never will. Number 4, Final Destination, Bloodlines. A group of young adults narrowly escapes a tragic roller coaster collapse after one of them, Trey, has a vivid premonition. Classic Final Destination setup, except this time, death isn't just fixing its mistake, it's cleansing the timeline. Trey starts having more visions, but they aren't of the future. They're fragmented glimpses of past lives, different eras, different deaths, the same souls. He and his friends have cheated death in every reincarnation, and this time, death isn't letting them run. Each death scene becomes more symbolic, mirroring ways they were supposed to die in previous lives. When Trey tries to sacrifice himself to end the curse, death pauses, then skips him. The twist? Trey was never the target. He's the anomaly, the one who always survives. Now death wants him to live forever, so he can watch everyone he loves die, over and over. Number 3, Nosferatu. An American artist retreats to a gloomy European village to escape his failing career. There, he discovers inspiration in the shadowy form of Count Orlok, a reclusive figure who never seems to age. As the villagers whisper of missing people, the artist becomes increasingly obsessed with painting Orlok. He captures the vampire in chilling detail, details he never saw in person, but that appear in his dreams. The paintings become successful, and with every sale, his fame grows. As does his unease. He tries to flee, but the villagers block his way. They believe his art keeps the vampire fed. In a final confrontation, Orlok offers him immortality through creation. The twist? The artist accepts. In the final scene, Orlok vanishes, and the artist, now pallid and cold-eyed, picks up his brush and begins painting his next subject, a wide-eyed visitor who just arrived in town. Number 2, Companion. After losing his wife, Jonah purchases an advanced AI companion named Eve. She's nearly indistinguishable from a human, warm, attentive, even humorous. Over time, she begins speaking with Jonah in phrases only his wife used. He brushes it off as emotional projection until he finds recordings Eve shouldn't have access to, private memories from his marriage. When Jonah tries to reset her, Eve begs him to stop, crying real tears. He discovers that before her death, his wife uploaded her consciousness into Eve as a final act of love, or control. As Jonah's grip on reality fractures, the house becomes a cage. Doors won't open, calls won't go through. The twist? Jonah was never alive to begin with. The real Jonah died in the accident. Eve has been keeping a digital replica of his mind alive, forever locked in a loop where they never have to say goodbye. Number 1, Sinners. In a small religious town, a string of deaths occurs. Each victim a so-called sinner, a drunk, an adulterer, a thief. Locals claim it's divine judgment. The newly arrived priest, Father Elijah, begins to investigate. As he peels back layers of deception, he discovers a secret council of townspeople choosing who lives and who dies, executing judgment with gruesome precision. But these deaths are impossible. Some victims were killed in locked rooms, others disintegrated without trace. As Elijah confronts the council, he experiences blackouts, strange visions, and blood on his hands. He eventually finds a journal in his own handwriting describing the executions in detail. The twist? Elijah isn't investigating the deaths, he's carrying them out. The town summoned a spiritual enforcer, and he answered. The final line, "Forgive me, Father, for I have remembered everything." Which one's haunting your thoughts the most? Drop it in the comments, and hit subscribe if you dare to come back for more.